Hello everyone and welcome to today's Tasks on the Fly. My name is Cassandra and I apologize I haven't been producing a whole lot of content lately. I want to give a little shout out to my new location, which is my office. You can see my fashion closet behind me to my right, and then over my other shoulder we have the VeeFriends collectibles, as well as we want to say hey to Common Sense Cow. I don't know, I just haven't really, I've been doing so many other things, so it's no excuse to not produce a YouTube video. However, I was being inspired by an individual to produce a piece of content today, so here we are. So we're talking on the fly a little about content creator, and I have other videos that I'm producing on TikTok, and I've been doing a lot of other stuff like Twitch live. I've been doing I did an 11-hour session of going live. I've done hundreds of pieces of artwork for the Twitter account, so that one's been busting loose. Viral City, I've been going viral like crazy. Instagram, Facebook I've been slacking on, but picking up a little bit lately. And then that's kind of how it works on social media if you're operating it the way I operate it. Honestly, the way I operated it is I listen to myself and where I want to take the energy. I guess that's how I want to put it, where I want to take it, because it's my platform. See, a lot of people like to play to the audience, but if you're a leader to a community, you play to what needs to be heard by an audience, which makes it in the listening of what you're educating on. See, a lot of people don't want to do any work associated to this work. This work is not like fancy clothes, hair, and makeup, or even those women who are claimingly selling skincare products or the idea of eat clean. That's not content creation. You producing 4 to 5 pieces of Instagram story, 1 TikTok video, and then showing us your camera action and then trying to sell us a product because you're supposedly with someone, that's not content creation. That's a scumbag. That's the scam artist. And it's crazy because they're all doing it, so it makes it okay. Now the other side of that is you as an audience you're falling for it and you're buying into it because money is their representation of selling their words. How are they going to look seductive to get you to purchase their products? We saw it last night. If you were in on the Eat Clean party with Monavan, as always, she comes through every time demonstrating a new form of what we need to be aware of on how we're going to extinguish this concern. She thinks this is a big fucking joke. She thinks because Gary Vaynerchuk is her contract partner that he's going to protect her when the FBI and the CIA come after her. She thinks that showing her pretty face and her lack of citizenship and that her father's this and her mother's that and her story is completely fake and that Obama's got her back and all this nonsense. Well, when Obama goes under the bus, he ain't going to hide for you. All these people that proclaim to be her support system were never the support system. They literally were just using her just like she was using them. So everything we're watching is happening perfectly. Every picture she's showing, every erotica video that she shows, it's nonsense. I mean, she's literally showing herself lying on a massage table nude in front of a mirror and then telling everyone that she is so overwhelmed by the hard work, yet she never puts any work out on the internet to be seen. That doesn't make any sense. So it's all, I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give to you. And that's where you want to know of what's actually going on. You're going to get, we're going to do this, but it never shows up. Look at how fancy the table is set. It looks scary. It looks like a witchcraft session. We're all going to sit around and hold hands and think nasty thoughts about something to ensure that some person who's up to the right things falls flat on their face over a man that you don't even like. Because she's a Persian, and that's how Persians think. That's how Persians think, folks. So women like Mona Van think not like American. They don't think like Americans. They think in self-centered, egotistical ways, and they've taught everybody around them to do the same. They've created envy as a form of education. I'm going to envy you, you're going to envy me, and then we're all going to create envy with them. I'm going to be prideful, you're going to be prideful, we're going to talk like we're not prideful, which will sound like we're prideful, and then we're going to act as if we're educators on pride, yet you never experience pridefulness, which would be an apology, which would be speaking the truth. So none of which is going on in this society of the new world of what they're trying to create, which is a huge separation from reality and reality TV. Because the rich people still got lots of money, just to let you know. These little kids with, six-figure incomes, they're literally blowing it. There's a saying out there where this guy won the lottery and he bought like 600 pairs of the same jeans. And then by the end of like 10 years, this multi-millions of dollars that he received, the money was gone. And that's because he didn't have any intelligence associated to without integrity, nothing works, which is why the lottery where it stands is very unethical. One person receiving billions of dollars versus using millions to give to the winner and then giving the rest to who? To college education, called the Hope Grant. But you don't think like that because one person in your mind deserves billions of dollars. So it's like whatever. Not to mention the government, after you win this money, gets a huge chunk of it. Continuing on, sloth is another example of what these content creators and these women are up to. Slothfulness is they can't do anything. They only shop and then show off what they're buying and then wave it in your face. They wave it in your face and say, look what I have. You don't have that. Then they lie around and expect other people to wait on them hand and foot like Mona Van does. Then when you don't do what they ask you to do, you get your ass handed to you in silence. And then you start acting just like them, and then it's them on their platform acting silently like that, and then that's the energy that the entire audience of 444 million people receive. Now you want to remember that all these people on the internet are all following thousands of people of the same circuit, the network. Toxic. So then people who are not on the internet are experiencing these slothful, prideful, envious people. And then they think that they're above other people. And then people can't really figure out what's going on. And so everybody's just trying to be fake nice to each other when they all have secrets of what's actually going on. Gluttonous is very much apparent in your consumption of erotica, which is your videos of women wearing nothing but a bikini top. That should have been your first sign when it came to that woman, that wearing a bikini top at any business meeting, Cannes Lions, is extremely inappropriate. Wearing a bikini on camera at Cannes Lions, a obvious place for cocaine and bad behavior, is extremely inappropriate. But she doesn't have the mindset in her mind that she's not professional. She's not a good person. So all these women are all competing with each other in sloth, gluttony, wrath, pride, envy, and then lust. How can I get any of them to think that I'm hot? Because that's going to sell them on my product, which is my body. Then in the next breath, they'll say, women in business, we deserve respect. Then the ones that are like the, I forget what her name is. She's this weird ass lady who's an activist who's supporting the Middle East Palestinians. It's like, are you shitting me right now? Those type of women, because we don't have security guards or famous men protecting us from our next door neighbor or the guy at the Walmart or the guy down the street. We don't have famous people that are protecting us from these people. They're creating problems amongst women who are considered peasants, lustfully attempting to make all of us jealous, telling us not to be jealous, that your problem is your problem, to where you then have a woman from Turkey tell us that there is a low, like, poor me because I'm so attractive. However, she's not attractive. No, it's because you're weird and you make people uncomfortable because there's an essence of lustfulness that we as normal people do not like. So that means you need to be put in your place. We don't give a crap about that. Normal people don't. Although they like to take your head, I don't want to use V-friends, take your head and smash it into the ground and say, I'm better than you. But that's because they're that insecure. So when somebody told them that something when they were young, instead of standing up for themselves, they got rewarded for the certain behavior to fuel this behavior to where it is today. Then they watched Kim Kardashian. Then they watched the greedy side of all of that. They wanted the money. They wanted the fame. You don't just be famous. You can't just be famous. Like Benjamin Franklin wasn't just famous to be famous. Like he actually did something. When in the old days, celebrities, not celebrities, but like performers, actors, and singers, they were garbage. They didn't do anything. They didn't help people get food on their table. So what does that tell you about where we are in today's society? What does that tell you about what this generation of Gen Z millennial are up to with putting food on other people's table? Now imagine this 20 years from now. The Gen Xers are now in charge. Gary is engaged to one of the millennials. Adam Levine, I think you might be married to one. I'm not sure. Imagine you're gone and now that woman has all your money. Now, I'm hypothetically speaking because there's a lot of men out there, and I can't pinpoint their names right now, that it's a catastrophe for us because Mona Van won't care about the homeless. She'll host a gala event with baby to baby, put on a fancy dress, find herself a new Middle Eastern man, and then overthrow this country with your money. And that's what all their plan is. And if you make it to the end, that's that plan. But the other plan is to take up half of what you earn. It's pretty fucking clear in this moment as we talk about Gary Vee and Mona that they're playing a game with each other, correct? Yeah. We're doing it really good we're doing really good on this round, I have to tell you. It's very, very disappointing to watch a female who had so much potential to destroy her life the way she has. But that's on her. It's not my problem. The last thing we'll talk to is wrath. Wrathfulness is basically getting revenge on someone who did nothing more than call you out on your shit. So the real way of existing in a society is to notice. That's not forgiveness. You never forgive these people. So that's something that I had to learn the hard way. I never forgive you when you've done some wrong shit to me. Sorry, bitch. You're off the list. Goodbye. That's every female Hollywood celebrity out there, every content creator out there. You're off the list. Because what they like to do is, in your mind, tell you, forgive them, forgive them, forgive them for yourself, forgive them for yourself. No, bitch, I'm very aware of what you're capable of, and you don't change. So you never get my forgiveness, because forgiveness is validation for their behavior. That's why when someone murders your family, you don't go in there and give them forgiveness. That was your first mistake. Sorry. That's your problem. You did that. I didn't do that. I need to make peace with what happened. It is what it is. But I'll always be watching your ass. So going back, we have the 7 deadly sins, which is how everyone on this planet, this is so important. I feel like everybody really got this when we started talking about this on a regular basis, that everyone's operating on sloth, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and envy. So when someone's commenting in your comment section, they're definitely operating with sloth, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and envy. They're all trying to get a reaction out of you. They want you to feel less than. They want to make you feel bad so you don't succeed. But this is more like malicious than even what I just said. They get pleasure out of other people's pain. You will go off on a spiral of anger. That's what you might be experiencing right now. See, in the old days, you all were doing it. You were trained to behave that way because Kim Kardashian didn't have the cojones to stand up against you. She accepted it as bad publicity is good publicity. So that makes her a bad leader. So what she did instead is she transmuted the energy into a weapon against you as the audience, to where you actually fell for it because she's Armenian. Because she's greedy. She used pornography to get herself famous. No one liked her then. And then you millennial Gen Zs grew up and you watched it. So we all made fun of her. And then you all accepted that as normal. And then you all started behaving like that. Then the industry decided that that was okay. Democrats saw it as a political campaign. And then here we are today, everybody living in sloth, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and envy. Don't forget the Middle East Palestinians. Don't forget the Black Lives Matter, who are literally getting a free ride. And they have for the entire time they've been in this country. While you call yourselves victims. All living in sloth, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and envy. And then pretending that you believe in God. While pretending to be a good neighbor. But every time you come up to somebody, you are always thinking about a way to get for yourself. It's a new way of living. How am I going to win? How am I going to win? How am I going to get back at them? How am I going to win? That is where we're at. That's the Biden administration. They know they're full of shit, and they continue to produce information that's complete lies. Literally that Jean-Pierre lady, I don't have anything to say about that. I can't share that with you right now. I can't ever share it with you. I'm not sure. So when people are in the audience asking these questions, they're giving you a sense of that is actually happening. So when she says, I don't know, I can't answer that, that means she's trying to deter you as an audience, to discount. It's like she's on trial every day. So she's pleading the fifth constantly. Pleading the fifth, pleading the fifth, pleading the fifth, pleading the fifth, pleading the fifth. Imagine if our whole country ran off pleading the fifth. And then you all say, judicial system, law and order, let him free. So I'm not real sure what part of this y'all ain't understanding, that Hunter Biden is a bad guy. And that the president is preferring to choose Hunter over United States citizens. He's chosen his drug addict son Anybody out there have a drug addict son? You all talking about pill popping and people who are ordering from online dealers, y'all are ridiculous. I don't give a crap about that. Yes, of course, we need to get it under control, but you know those people are addicts. I'm not really sad about those people dying. Sorry. You should actually be glad. I know it's hard to understand. Thank you, God. Thank you. He did it to himself. I have no feelings on it. I'm just like, it is what it is. And then now I need to take a look at how he did it to share with the government so that we can stop these things in early years for other kids. So they never make the decision. They never make the decision to be a bad person. If you're a really good person and you really feel that way, then that's the way you go. You don't go with, well, I'm a victim. How are you a victim? You know, it's a free country. Mark Zuckerberg has nothing to do with that aspect of it. Making the choices. Making choices. Now, what they do have a responsibility in is in law and order of the 7 deadly sins, which is what these women are producing. And it's a little bit more of a touchy subject because some of my content is extremely inappropriate. In the sense of I would never normally post this to somebody I would never normally post this to Gary Vaynerchuk's page where I tell him that I hate his guts. I'm not sure where that's coming from on your end at this point, Gary. Some dark doo-doo over there with you. But what was I saying? But that's called professionalism. So what we're dealing with right now is complete chaos, complete psychosis, and people who don't know how to be grown-ups, nor do we have law and order. So people should be afraid to post what they post. Mona Van posting what she posts should be extremely embarrassed because it's all associated to making other people envious. She's up to no good behind the scenes. It's Gary Vaynerchuk's responsibility to call her out. Normal time, like normal land, as if she was normal. She's an employee with Gary Vee. His job is to tell her what you're posting is very, very bad. As a undercover cop, Gary doesn't say anything. It's very, very complicated. Everything about Mona Van's platform is an attempt to create lust within an audience, to create envy, to create sloth, to create gluttony. Literally every picture is all these things: greed, wrath, and pride. And that's all these women's platforms. So how are we living the 7 deadly sins and nobody sees it as lawlessness? That's the true question of what I'm asking you. This is for Elon Musk. This is for Mark Zuckerberg. And then we need to find something to do with the communism out of China, because as I showed you in a video this morning, or maybe I watched it myself, Xu never says anything of value. We're trying. We have guidelines. We're trying. Look at how hot that is. Let's make that go viral. His employees. You promoting people like Charli D'Amelio is against the law. This platform has gotten extremely out of control. It's so sad because it has had so much potential to create a fun environment. And that's on you, Xu. That's what it takes to be a CEO. You prefer the 7 deadly sins because you're what are you? What's your religion? I don't even know if you have a religion because you're dead inside. He likes pride. He's a prideful man. He's slothful. Well, actually, in versions of sloth. He loves envy and he's definitely wrathful and greedy, loves watching the women and lustfulness, and experiences gluttony because the money is your example. So what you should have done is you should have chosen people's platforms that were up to value. You should have made a decision to choose the right path for your platform. But instead you decided that Charli D'Amelio and the Hype House, you were going to go down the no integrity path versus starting a foundation of strength and power for the entire globe. And that probably still goes over your head. No. Because even as I say this to him and he is not taking responsibility, he says, I'm a good person. Obviously, now we have to take a look at your actions and your words, and the platform is the actions. Because he's very good at convincing. Even Z might fall for it. And that's just not going to work. He's the king of the world, a king of the world. It's a Titanic, dude. Your ship is sinking. Mark, on the other hand, Citron, I don't know who the hell you are. I don't know who the hell the other guy was. The way you all speak to each other in your meetings is absolutely boring as shit. You're weird as shit. You can have public people in there, but I don't know who those people are around you. They need to be in a different room while you film it. I mean, the way you all speak to each other is completely insane. Completely insane. That lady, you need to shut your mouth. They're all telling me what a horrible, horrible person you are, and I can definitely feel it. Meanwhile, the borders open and more slothful, gluttonous, lustful, greedy, wrathful, prideful, envious people are crossing the border daily and eating our food out of our grocery stores. Where do you think they're going to get food? Where do you think they're going to get food? Who's going to grow the food? If we get products from Venezuela or we get products from Mexico and all of those people are here in America, who's going to work those farms? No more apples for you. Now we're all starving to death while Mona Vance says eat clean. Eat clean. Thanks, Mona. Real great advice. Great dinner party. It was so inspiring. At the bottom, it says impress. I thought that was fabulous. Like, she literally could have cut that off. She left it on there. And that's how she is. Creating envy, creating pride, creating wrath, greed, lust, gluttony, sloth. And if any of you are on her side and you're an American, you're going to go down. She's not as talented as she thinks she is. She's very, 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 very insecure, super strange, and very gross. She's really gross. She's ugly. She's really actually crying in her Ferrari right now. It's really kind of beautiful. Not sure where this energy is actually coming from, but it's like, I don't give a shit. That's the great part about it. It's not caring what people think and knowing thyself and knowing what you stand for and knowing the people who taught you and knowing what those lessons taught you along the way on your journey. When people like Kim Kardashian or Michelle Pfeiffer tried to tell you that you were not enough, while she proclaimed herself to be a great person on interviews. It's a weird space to be on the outside and then move to the inside circle of this energy that they created for themselves and see how grotesque they all are. And how you as normals, I call you normals, are so much happier than each and every one of them. And them creating that envy and lustfulness upon your families is illegal. It's completely illegal. It's unethical. It's completely unethical. Anywho, the true meaning of the Constitution. When people don't know how to have ethics, morals, and values, you have to make laws. So it is necessary for some form of lawfulness to be on the internet. Not sure how that's going to look quite yet. But whatever they're proposing is control. And I don't like that. So there's something else that needs to happen. And really, it's starting at zero. Community guidelines need to be adjusted. The government needs to take a step back to stay out of business while being able to ask questions. You cannot control an election. You can't. The way Twitter operated with FBI and CIA is the reason why we're in this mess. The way that Shu just chose erotica to go viral is why we're in this mess. The way that Mark Zuckerberg allowed... I have to take a look at this one. Mark Zuckerberg seems like he's the most innocent. But I have to take a look. I never had any problems with Instagram I never had any problems with Instagram and Facebook in the early years. Until y'all started watching my shit. So there has to be a tier level of hierarchy of quantity of followers in association to the content you create. You need to have CE courses, continuing education. You need to have a degree. And that means if you pass a certain amount of people, you've got to take a class. That's what happens when you're in a business marketing company. You need to go to college. You're not allowed to say that you shouldn't go to college. Sorry. It's a lot of stuff going on, but anyway, that's what I have for you on this 7 Deadly Sins podcast. The 7 Deadly Sins, and you can take a look in yourself what you have. What's inside you? Sloth, gluttony, lust, greed, wrath, pride, and envy. And all of you have all these things. You have all of these things. It's the level of degree that you have them. All of you have them. So take a look. See how you're willing to restore your integrity. Thanks for watching. Like, share, follow for more, even though I've been AWOL for a while. Thank you for watching.